about tariffs, the ongoing Trump tariff showdown, creating a ripple effect on Wall Street, Main Street, and the global supply chain. The tail of the tariffs, that started back in April when the president declared a national emergency and launched universal import duties affecting nearly every country. And it has been a roller coaster ride since then, with tariff rates going up for some countries, coming down for others, up and down. We know this is the latest as we know it. Back on August 29th, a federal appeals court ruled most of the president's tariffs, they're not legal, but for now they stay in place. The White House pushing the case to the Supreme Court, trying to get a decision as early as November. If the court strikes them down, businesses could be owed billions in refunds. So there's that. But what do consumers get? Apparently, they don't get anything back. This saga is creating a lot of uncertainty for business owners. We know that here in this country. And joining us now is Jennifer Adams. She is the CEO of lifestyle brand JenniferAdams.com. Thanks so much for being here on Connecting America, Jennifer. Have you sort of become an instant expert on tariffs because of what's been happening?
Unfortunately, so it has affected my business like to such an insane way because we're constantly in flux. And so it's left our business at a standstill. And at the beginning, when we thought the tariffs were going to be 10%, that was really a conversation between the retailer, the supplier, and us, and how we would manage that. And so we all took the hit. And then we thought, this is really damaging because I'm in the textile industry. So our margins are really low. And then we thought, okay, that's as bad as it's going to get. And then when it went up to 20%, nobody had the extra margin to absorb. And during that time, I had 350,000 comforter sets that were at the port in China being deployed to the US. So we got caught 10%, then it went up to 20%, and then it went up to 145% as I've had containers on the water entering the US. So there's no way to absorb that price point. So then when we were doing that, there's some of the product had to hit the shelves at these ridiculous prices. So then we stopped all the inflow of the goods, which we had in containers sitting at the port in Shanghai. Those had to go all the way back to the factory, sitting in containers in the sun. And so we had to unpack all the containers, bring them inside the factory, causing even more cost. And then we've been having to work with other countries that don't have the tariffs to take this product. So, for example, working with Canada because they don't have tariffs, working with Australia, which then means opening up the packages, taking out the labels, putting in new labels that are compliant with each of these countries. And so then it's adding even more cost to this. So it's just been ridiculously painful.
Oh my gosh, Jennifer, that
Wow.
is so helpful to have you describe the real world impact on just what you've had to deal with, just one small business owner. And so this is obviously not sustainable. I mean, what's your plan for going
So,
forward?
and that's such a good question because so many people say, well, you can cut and sew in the US. There's so many things you could do in the US. Well, when you think about, we're in the textile industry specifically for the bedroom. And when you think about a bed, like a king bed size, that's really, really wide compared to like an apparel, like a shirt you're cutting. So the equipment to weave the fabric doesn't exist in the US. It just simply, there's the weaving facilities aren't here. And then when you're cutting and sewing the fabric, those tables and that machinery, because you can't have the sheet sets touching the ground, they have to be incredibly clean. That equipment does not exist in the US. So there's no option for that. So we have now had all of our fall business across the board has been canceled at the retailers, huge volume, because we can't bring anything in during this time. So we're really at a standstill waiting for the things to settle. So when it was, China settled till the early November, and then right now it's at 30%, but it's pretty impossible to produce something during this delay and get it, on the water. It takes 3 to 4 weeks and the production time. And so we thought, okay, well, maybe we can start producing. Maybe we can do this. But with the volatility, we could be producing and then bringing things in the water. And then in November, it could go back up to 50%, just like they just did with India, which we depend on India as well. And so now we're at a standstill in India, which we didn't anticipate because we thought, okay, India will be 25%. We're going to move production to India. And now all of the sudden, it's just such, it's really tough. So I'm having to um, try to keep my employees motivated during this time, which is nearly impossible as I'm doing layoffs and cutbacks, and it's been brutal, really brutal.
Wow. And before all of these tariffs were imposed, I imagine you sort of had a well-oiled machine. And it sounds like how much of your time is spent now trying to navigate the impact
Yeah.
of the tariffs and logistics instead of just doing business as usual?
It's we're really it's all of it. It's all consuming because yeah, I had a like I'm so grateful. I started from nothing, like cleaning houses, as you guys know, to being an entrepreneur and growing a global brand with product everywhere and really large scale business to now nothing. And when you're in the product development business, you work a couple years in advance. So all of my work for my employees, that's a sunk cost that we've spent over the past 2 years. And so now when we can't even really develop with confidence for like our markets to show the retailers are in September. So we're showing up. We've worked all summer long to develop new product from various countries because we don't know what country we'll be able to ship from. And we don't know if we're burning all this R&D and sampling and everything for good or for not. So really the state of my business right now, it's really it's to say it's scary is an understatement at this moment. But yeah, I'm spending all my time, all my conversations with the banks, with the retailers, with my employees, it's all around tariff instability because there's nothing we can count on right now.
Dealing
So
with this type
like
of
if I wanted to
instability.
try to plan, you can't really. But
No, since you can't plan and it's hard to figure out what's going on, what kind of advice would you have for entrepreneurs going forward?
so entrepreneurship is all about resilience and we have highs and lows. So to the extent that you don't panic is the best thing, but you can't ignore it. Cash right now, watch your cash flow like a hawk. It's time to get lean, get rid of every single thing that you do not need. And that's what we're doing. I mean, our marketing dollars are cut down to nothing. We're having people on abbreviated work schedules right now. Unfortunately, I'm having some employees say, I care about my insurance. So if I have to take a pay cut, I'd rather do that than have to be laid off. And so I think um, watch every dollar you have. Don't ignore it. And it's kind of like COVID. At first, we're like, what do we do? And then the ones who survived were the ones that said, okay, this is our new go forward. This is the reality. So this is our reality. So don't have your head buried in the sand. And this will stabilize at some point, but it is our reality right now.
Wow, Jennifer, we're just so impressed. You have such an incredibly good attitude through this. We can only imagine
Thanks.
how difficult it is. I mean, are you in terms of your own mood, are you struggling through this?
Yes, I mean, so many sleepless nights and like a pit in my stomach all the time. It's been really an emotional roller coaster. And the thing that's the hardest is just like as it pertains to my people, my employees with families, and this has also had a bullwhip effect across our entire supply chain. So you think about in the US, there's so many people that depend on the function of my business to maintain their businesses. So our warehouses, our logistics, the trucks that are used to getting business from us. So many third parties that are being affected and so many families. So our overseas like China and India, they're definitely getting affected, but I'll tell you it's affecting the US citizens so much right now.
All right, Jennifer, I hope that's an emotional support dog we see in the corner of your screen because it sounds like you need it right now.
I
Thank
do.
you.
I've got Oliver and Jax back there.
All
All
right.
right.
They're my
Nice.
buddies.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for Thanks for sharing all of that, Jennifer. Wow, guys, that really brings it home for all of us listening. That, you know, just the ripple effect of what these decisions that are being made in the White House have on small businesses and then their employees and then their families. That was really well described by Jennifer.
You have to be nimble, to say the least, and
Right.
in a magnified kind of way right now. What she was describing about talking to other countries and trying to figure out where she could actually manufacture her goods, if it's not in China or in one of these countries that have tariffs that are too hard for her to sustain the business model, that's just an amazing task to undertake.
Right. There's so much uncertainty already baked into entrepreneurship. Trying to figure out how to go forward can't be easy.
Yeah. All right.